The reaction new Tom Holland SpiderMan Marvel Sony deal Andrew Garfield. If the cause want to stay with us and check it out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and it looks like our good old friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is sticking around in the MCU for at least a few more years. And it looks like Tom Holland is about to sign on for several more projects, not just Spider-Man projects, but of course big team-up films as well. This is obviously amazing news, but what's even cooler is it looks like Tom Holland is not only going to sign a contract to remain in the MCU, but could even possibly be appearing in the Sony Spider-Verse even more than he had before, which is really nothing. Yes, they kind of connected Spider-Man No Way Home with the Sony universes because Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they both came from their universes, which are technically Sony universes. And it does look like we'll be seeing the three of them back on the big screen again, separately but also together, both in the MCU and possibly in the Sony Spider-Verse as well. Because although we do have new reports today for Tom Holland's contract with the MCU, we also have been getting reports lately and in the past about Sony wanting to keep Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire around for their Sony Spider-Verse as well. And of course, let's not forget the fact that we still could possibly be getting the Amazing Spider-Man 3. We'll talk about all of this in this video, and of course, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the videos. So first and foremost, let's talk about Tom Holland's new Spider-Man contract between Sony and Marvel Studios / Disney. It looks like the deal is pretty close to coming to an end, which makes sense because Spider-Man 4 isn't too far away in the MCU, plus not to mention, Avengers The Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars aren't too far away either. And to top that off, Daredevil isn't that far away, and apparently Spider-Man 4 is going to tackle some of the events that took place in Daredevil. We are assuming Kingpin, that makes the most sense, but once the Daredevil series comes out, we'll have a little bit better of an idea. But Spider-Man 4 right now has an unofficial release date of July of 2024. That's a little bit over a year and a half away. That means they really have to get everything done for Spider-Man 4 pretty quickly, because it takes at least a full year for filming, pre-production, production, everything involved in making a movie. It takes a good amount of time, over a year. So I'm expecting this contract to be completely finalized within the next couple of months at the very latest. But based off of the news that we are hearing today, Tom Holland's contract with Marvel and Sony is pretty much done. But there does seem to be a bit of misinformation going around out there, so let's clear that up. Here's what happened yesterday and today in a tweet by the Cosmic Circus's Lizzie Hill. She tweeted a gift of Tom Holland saying, "That's right, I'm Spider-Man." Then she quote tweeted it saying she hopes that Tom Holland is having a great day, and at the end of the sentence she put a winky face emoji, noting that something was definitely going on. Most likely the fact that Tom Holland has probably signed a new deal to play Spider-Man again. Then the insider account culture_spider gave credit to Lizzie Hill, stating, "Lizzie knew it was coming and was first to hint at it. You all know she's a bad A." And to make sure that it was super clear, culture_spider tweeted saying, "New Tom Holland deal coming right up." But here's where things got a little bit interesting. Somebody tweeted, "The details of Tom Holland's new Spider-Man deal. Daredevil, Born Again, Spider-Man 4, The Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, Spider-Man 5, Spider-Man 6. In this tweet, the same account at GoodCBM Takes also stated Zendaya and Jacob have not signed anything yet. Now, we don't really know anything about this account, so take what they said with a grain of salt. But what's interesting is that Alex P. from the Cosmic Circus replied to this tweet stating, "Holland's contract does not feature Disney Plus appearances, I'm being told. So if any," and this is in quotes, "deal," end quote, "out there includes an appearance in a Disney Plus show, chances are it isn't real." So if that remains to be true, then Spider-Man most likely isn't making a cameo appearance in Daredevil, Born Again, because that would be a Disney Plus show. So if this information is accurate, no Disney Plus shows, no Daredevil. However, the same is not true for the opposite of that. Daredevil could very well appear in Spider-Man 4, especially if you consider the fact that the street-level Avengers team is being assembled right now in the MCU. And that's most likely what Spider-Man 4 is going to be about. Peter Parker's new life with him on his own. Sadly, no more Aunt May, no more Happy, no more Iron Man, and no more MJ or Ned. But hopefully he will find new friends in other superheroes like Daredevil and whoever else appears in New York City. But the contract that Tom Holland is signing for the MCU does most likely include these 5 projects. Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6, that's a new trilogy, and then of course the 2 Avengers films, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But he could also appear in the Sony Spider-Man universe, like I mentioned, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But first, big thank you to Wondery and the official Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power podcast for sponsoring this video. Now, I know a lot of you, like me, have watched The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon. It's amazing, I loved it, and since you're on my channel right now, you probably love to dive even deeper than just watching the show. And now you can go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power podcast. Host Felicia Day, who many people probably know, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunner DJ Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app right now to listen to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. So a lot of people are taking this information as Tom Holland officially securing a new contract to play Spider-Man, which is fantastic news. But like I mentioned, he might not actually be alone for all of these projects, as we have also gotten reports in the past from insiders that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire could have possibly both signed deals to appear in Avengers Secret Wars. Now, of course, this makes perfect sense. Secret Wars is going to be about universes colliding into each other, the multiverse essentially becoming just one universe. So we're going to see a bunch of different variants of a ton of characters that we know and love. Spider-Man is going to be one of them, and since we've already seen these 2 variants, it makes sense that they would show up again. But here's the really cool thing. Sony is also kind of building their own multiverse as well. And we could also see our 3 Spider-Man reunite in that universe too. If you've been following the channel or Spider-Man news in general, you know that it looks like Sony is building up to a huge Spider-Verse multiverse movie. And that is the story of Spider-Geddon. And yes, that name is a play on Armageddon, essentially where the world comes to an end, except for, in our case, it's Spider-Geddon, and it's a movie filled with a bunch of different Spider-Man variants. And when I say a bunch, I'm not talking about 3, 4, 5, I'm talking about over 15. At least in the comics, there are over 15 variants that appear in the same story, in the same universe. This will most likely take place after Avengers Secret Wars, but it is another opportunity to see our 3 Spider-Man on screen at the same time together again. And leading up to that, we could definitely be seeing Andrew Garfield's and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Sony is securing, or has secured, their contract with Tom Holland, but old rumors suggest that they have also talked to Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire about reappearing in the Sony Spider-Verse. And with the recent success of Spider-Man No Way Home, insiders state that they are considering making The Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, and Andrew has already expressed that he is interested, although he did say that he wished people would have spoken up before in the past. So Andrew could get another movie by himself, his own solo The Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie. Whereas what we've heard about Tobey Maguire is that he could pop up in other films, not necessarily getting his own movie like Spider-Man 4, but simply jumping on into others. But hey, that gets him back into the Sony Spider-Verse. Even if it isn't his own film, he can still interact with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, with Tom Holland's, with Venom, and anybody else that they may be bringing in soon. So the future of Spider-Man / Spider-Men is really bright. It looks like Tom Holland is going to be our Spider-Man in the MCU for at least 5 more projects. So let me know how excited you are about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest MCU and Spider-Man news. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Subscribe, like this video, to watch, and see you guys. Bye.